music panel. And we have two great panelists here. We have Alica Molito, Berkeley alumni and founder of Aura Studios. And we have Kane with us, founder and CEO of Volta Audio. So the word Metaverse has been buzzing for over a year at all conferences I attended, and I really hope that during this talk we will finally get some explanation of what it actually is. But first, I'd like to ask our panelists for some brief introductions of themselves and how their journey went up to this point. Thank you.
Sure, I'll start. Hello, I'm very, very happy that I can be here. I'm Alica, and I'm usually a digital artist and creative, but since about a year, I'm the creative director and co-founder of Aura Studios. I co-founded the company with James Shannon, our CEO, and we're both Berkeley alumni. And Aura is kind of a creative technology company because we do both the creative agency part for augmented reality experiences, and also we're kind of a development hub for new technologies, working on some prototypes right now.
Thank you.
My name's Alex Kane. Oh, sorry. My name's Alex Kane. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Volta. Volta is it's a mixed reality creation platform aimed at artists and creators. It actually started as my thesis project when I was at the Royal College of Art and Imperial College London. It started as a spatial audio studio production platform. But since then, it's evolved into a self-serve, free-to-use platform that lets anybody make mixed reality experiences in a few simple clicks, just using your existing workflows. So if you use Ableton or Tractor, for example, you can connect different devices. You can connect music and music metadata to Volta. And then use that music and metadata to both edit a world, make it audio reactive, as well as broadcast it to 2D streaming platforms like YouTube and Twitch, and also to our VR app. We have an app in the Oculus Quest store.
I can see that the master's thesis projects and the culminating experiences are quite flourishing in the startup world. That's nice. Maybe let's start with some like a general question. If you had to put the AR or VR in the music industry on the innovation adoption curve, where would it be? Are we still in the early adopter space, or are we actually moving behind it?
So I would say that we are, if you look at kind of like the hype cycles of new technologies, there was the initial spike, and then there was the winter, and I'd say we're definitely coming out of the winter. Where we are kind of in how far out of it we are is up for debate. COVID definitely, the combination of COVID, the Quest and the Quest 2 definitely accelerated that trend. We as a company are looking at that adoption curve and hoping that it reaches some sort of critical mass quickly. But it's enough for companies to start actually building viable businesses off of for the first time, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think with AR, it might be a little bit easier to just get like this broad mass adoption just because everybody can use their phone. And I think I would say that we already so far, like basically the whole music industry is using it. And we see that nearly every music release campaign is at least thinking about AR or something interactive like that. But I do think that we don't even know what's going to come. Like it's probably going to be everywhere in our life. Also VR, once these new like devices are going to be developed and fashionable. So,
Alex, you were saying a critical mass. What does that mean for you in terms of like Quest 2 and its successors? Where would you like to see it in 5 years?
I mean, in 5 years, I think a lot of us really see VR as potentially just being a stepping stone to AR. Maybe it will have its own sort of place in the world of entertainment, but AR in terms of like wearable AR seems to be like the most likely direction for this kind of technology. And what that looks like for us is you don't need to put a wall between you and this reality. You don't need to silo yourself from other people, from reality itself. You can overlay reality itself in new creative ways. That's what we're really excited about. But in the short term, critical mass just really looks like enough people using wanting to not just create in Volta to stream to 2D platforms. Like I said, you can stream to YouTube and Twitch and everything, but wanting to actually create VR experiences, fully interactive, socially interactive VR experiences to share meaningful moments with friends. So whenever that point is, whenever enough people are on it that they feel like it's worth sharing with their friends in a consistent way.
Right. Alica, you had a beautiful cooperation with Glass Animals, which made kind of like the initial point in the project of Aura Studios. Can you tell us a bit more about it? What was it, and how did you get this?
For sure, that's a fun question. Yeah, so what happened was when James and me were finishing Berkeley, we were actually also doing this as our thesis project at first. So we realized we want to do this as a real business, and we kind of want to help artists connect with their fans through augmented reality, and we really believed in it. And so we wanted to make some kind of app. We had this whole idea, but we also realized we're not developers and we don't have the funding yet. So we were thinking, what can we do? What can you actually do right now so we can get started? And we were like, you can actually make AR experiences in the social media world. And then we looked at an initial artist we could start off with to kickstart the agency and say, okay, this is our first project. And we both were really big fans of the Glass Animals music and been following them. And so we saw, wow, their newest release has all these like 3D visuals and it looks pretty cool. We could probably make this into some cool filters. And so we reached out to them, and after like 100 mails or so, we actually got the gig with them and could release our filter. But just because we made the filter in advance, like we did the concept and we sent it to them, we were like, please come work with us. And it's been really fun. And the filter, if anybody hasn't seen it, or which is probably quite likely that not everybody knows it, you should check it out, is the user gets immersed in this 3D scene. And so they are like part of the album artwork. Instead of the singer's head, you have the fan's head in real time. And so the whole room is in 3D behind them, it all moves. And then what's special about this one is that it's audio overlaid. And so the fan can interact with the audio and they can build the track by tapping the screen, and then they get the different stems in part by part. So it starts with the drums and then the bass comes in. And so I think it was a really nice interactive experience for the fans to really like be part of the track visually and have the feeling that they can build the track themselves. Yeah.
Sounds great, and definitely recommend everyone to check this out themselves. And Alex, kind of the similar question for you. What was your first big project in terms of Volta, and especially what kind of technology? Let's not get too technical, but what kind of technology you are actually using to create these experiences?
Sure. So Volta's built in Unity. And we are using other kind of new technologies to kind of integrate it. But everything that we do, we want to make sure they're technologies that are easily accessible. So, for example, we're using the LiDAR sensor on the new iPhones and iPads a lot to volumetrically put a 3D volumetric U inside of a Volta world. So you could, if you just have one of the new iPhones, you can actually transmit a 3D U into our VR app. And so we've actually, one of the biggest projects that we've done, and one of the more exciting projects that we've done was a music video with Image and Heat, where we used the LiDAR sensor on one of the new iPads, and we took a CAD model of her studio, put it into, we made a Volta build around that, and then actually shot the video in that studio, so that using LiDAR and using Volta, we could put her into a virtual version of that same space and take her out, and put her in and take her out. And we actually shot, rendered, and streamed the whole experience live on YouTube. We would just do take after take after take. That's definitely like one of the more kind of like exciting milestones, and those are the technologies that we're using. Yeah, we just see that the instant that like more and more phones or people or devices have things like LiDAR depth sensors on them, user-generated content is going to fundamentally change, and for us as well, it's going to be the same thing, that we'll go from capturing 2D streams and 2D video and that kind of thing to capturing reality itself. And that's kind of what we're building Volta on.
Sounds exciting. This is for both of you, but when you are talking about this, many people, especially those who want to be entrepreneurs in this field, may think, I mean, how much does it cost? What are the barriers of entry actually to get to this market? All this hardware and software. So, in your view, is it how's the situation looking for, let's say, young entrepreneurs?
For me, it was the financial barrier to entry to learn how to make stuff is pretty low. Things like Unity licenses, Unreal licenses are free. I built the prototype for Volta. I mean, again, it was a very different thing, but I built it during my master's program, effectively at the only cost being my time. Finding really good people who like really know what they're doing and can kind of network all of these, really next level bleeding edge systems together, though, that's a completely different thing. Going from not knowing anything, like literally like not coding in Unity or C# or anything at all, to building a prototype is far easier than going from taking a prototype and turning it into a product, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I'd add a little bit like from the creative, like visual side, because I'm not able to code in Unity, but we're building in Unity with an agency right now. So I agree that it can be easier than you might think to like get some knowledge and just get to know the space, especially in the new spaces like the crypto space for NFTs, the AR space, VR space, because yeah, you just have to be passionate, and everything's changing so fast that even the people that know everything already have to catch up just like new people. And yeah, I think, for example, if you want to do social AR experiences, you can start as a freelancer by making those, and it's not such a steep learning curve. It's okay. And then I agree that getting from there to being an expert, like learning the coding, is a bit more of a challenge, but the space is really open right now. I think a lot of labels are looking for experts. Everybody's looking for people who know something, who can do something. So I wouldn't be scared of the word AR, VR, and innovation and that kind of stuff.
And what's that something? I mean, what are the really like the most high demand skills of freelancers right now on this market?
Well, for us, I can tell you right now, if anybody is a really good back-end server engineer, we're really looking for some really good people on that front. And we're also pretty much always looking for creative coders, people who have like really good design sense, but also know how to get creative with code itself. That's something that we're pretty much always on the lookout for. And then, what does that say?
Marketing.
And sorry, my COO is just encouraged me to say that we're also looking for a marketing manager. So if anybody is out there, back-end server engineer, really talented Unity creative coder, marketing manager. I can't speak for the rest of the industry, but that's what we are looking for right now.
I would maybe add 3D artists, 3D designers can definitely make a lot of money right now, can get a lot of jobs right now. And then anybody who can develop AR and VR, I think that the major labels are looking for that too, even for like their interns. So.
I hope everyone was listening closely because there were some good opportunities mentioned. Let's move to another topic, please. With the live industry experiencing some kind of like a bounce back in this in the past 3 months, with shows actually happening all over the world, do you see any possible cross sections for digital and live, especially within festivals and other experiential events? Where do you see this heading to?
Yeah, we absolutely see hybrid events as the future, as one sort of path in the future. I think all the different labels that we've been talking to and artists and managers that we've been talking to, they feel that like COVID kind of forced live streaming to kind of like take the genie out of the bottle and it's not going back in. But what that actually looks like for the future is things like you're saying, like festivals that have some sort of like broadcast to virtual worlds in real time. We're actually exploring that with a few different labels right now. Is they have these big events coming up as kind of like a celebration of we're out of the pandemic, winter. We can actually go to concerts again, but they want to do the amount of like time and effort that they're putting into these events. They feel like it's not commensurate with just this one event. They want to have some global scalability. And so Volta fortunately is an interactive content generation machine. So you can not only have the visuals sort of and the world broadcast out to the world, you can actually use it for like the LED screens and stuff behind artists. So you can imagine at a festival or a show or something like that, the performance itself is is live, and you have all the benefits of the live part of it, and then the world that they could be broadcasting behind them at the show itself can actually be broadcast in VR, in 2D, in to YouTube and Twitch and everything live. And we're getting a lot of interest from labels for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely gonna come, I hope myself. I also think in the metaverse, which for me is kind of a blockchain related term, for all of those VR or just like online game kind of worlds where people are hanging out. And I'm really hoping to see some well done festivals with good headliners there soon too. And then this can be adapted in VR and AR. I'm thinking about concerts that you can see in your own home through AR, for example, to see the artist perform on your couch. Once the LiDAR technology gets more adapted, hopefully everybody can have that experience and like a good quality. And it's really, truly exciting to me.
Well, you mentioned blockchain, and let's go deeper to the pit. You are, Lisa, now working on some projects related to augmented reality NFTs. So could you maybe get deeper to this topic and maybe explain a bit about it?
So I hope everybody's familiar with the term NFT. So for those who are not, it's a non-fungible token, which means you can buy a digital file, let's say, it could be a 3D or a 2D file, and you are the owner of that file. And you could copy the file, but you still have this ownership that you can't have with normal copies of that item. So that is a blockchain application. And we've seen it blow up in the music industry. I think probably most people have heard of it. And there's this issue of displaying those NFTs. And so augmented reality can be a way of kind of showing it in the real world, integrating the NFT you bought, just like a normal poster or something. I can also see NFTs and merch kind of collaborating. You could buy real life merch and you can buy digital merch, and it could all be just intertwined like that. And my company is just working on a prototype app that helps with helps artists and fans to have their NFTs and in augmented reality.
You seem very excited about that. That's good. I think
I'm actually quite excited. Yeah.
Alex, what's your take on NFTs, Alex? It's a kind of like a controversial topic. I'm sure you've been asked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like any other new technology, it's kind of experienced this hype cycle, and it's kind of it had a very quick one. But I think that there's a lot of value to NFTs. I think tokenizing things in general is a great thing. One thing that we are exploring right now is private ownership of experience and transferable ownership of experience. To essentially, one of the ways that we potentially might monetize our platform is by giving artists the tools to make an experience, and then buy and sell that private experience. And the NFTs as a phenomena, we don't know whether or not we would actually use NFTs. It's not really necessary if you own kind of the database itself, but this massive kind of movement around NFTs has enabled that to be an acceptable norm, right? To be able to buy and sell a digital experience, to be able to buy and sell a digital anything and have ownership over something that's incredibly highly, infinitely replicable, has normalized that sort of idea, normalized that behavior, which is great for us, and it's great for artists if we end up going that direction.
Now, maybe it's a good time, since we are coming to an end. If anyone has any questions to our speakers, feel free to write them in the comment box. And I'd like to ask you, where do you see the most unused potential in all kinds of technologies for the music industry? Where do you think there is still a huge progress to be made? And maybe, is it artificial intelligence, or is it something which maybe we don't even have a name for yet?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess what I'll say is, what we see mixed reality itself becoming its own art form. We don't think that like anybody's really gotten the music and mixed reality convergence quite right yet. And we don't think we've done it yet. So what, using kind of existing paradigms like concerts where you have an artist on a stage and an audience in a crowd, doesn't need to apply in mixed reality when you have, it's essentially applied existentialism. It's control over the entire world. And so what we think is that mixed reality itself will become its own art form. And so what we just want to see what people do with it. We're trying to open up the tools ourselves. That's kind of our USP, is democratizing these tools to see what people do with it. And to that point, where our beta is in closed beta, but we are trying to roll it out and onboard people. So if anybody wants to get a hold of Volta, please sign up to our waitlist. It's volta-xr.com. There's a waitlist there. We just want to get it out to as many people as possible now. So just to see what people do with the convergence of mixed reality and music.
I'll totally sign up.
Please do.
What's the most unused potential? Well, okay.
Where do you see the potential? Yeah.
I actually think it's merging social platforms, how they're used right now, and people actually interacting naturally without any technical barriers, and the amazing technology that's already there. I mean, people can do holograms like you work with in real time and put them anywhere, basically. And then I think there's not a lot of knowledge that this is actually reality already. And then there's some, I think, technical barriers that would connect these social platforms with these experiences. And I think, that's the biggest barrier. And you said, I think, AI, but artificial intelligence is already used in all kinds of technology. And I don't know if AI really has to be evolving that much. I think it's more just like interconnecting all of these pieces of the puzzle to find something that everybody can interact with.
To that point, actually, we think that like one of the biggest technologies that will have an effect on music, on mixed reality in general, is actually 5G. Because if you can get data transfer down sub 10 milliseconds, you can do things like collaborate musically. You can have social interactions, real-time, pretty much real-time social interactions. You can actually have much more meaningful remote shared social interaction.
Great answers, guys. This is, I think, very visionary. Let's go all sci-fi now. It is year 2070, and your granddaughter wants a Christmas present related to music. What will that be, in your opinion?
Okay, we were prompted on this one and a little bit, and so my answer can be both. It's at an extreme. It can be both very utopian or very dystopian, and it mirrors. Ray Kurzweil said that by the year like 2045 or something, there would be the capacity to have shared neocortices, and your neocortex is like what. Is largely responsible for abstractions, things like humor and love and profoundness and all that. And so by having a cloud-based shared neocortex, the level of love and happiness and profoundness that you can experience, would in theory be proportional to the amount of networked neocortices. It could probably also do the opposite, which is like, create fear and anger and the like. So assuming humans treat it well, I would, we're in the year 2070 here, but I'd get my granddaughter a hookup to the cloud-based, giant neocortex in the sky.
Is that the dystopian or the utopian version, though?
Well, it's either. It's right. It's just like anything else. Technology tends to be pretty agnostic to good or evil. It just depends on how we as a society use it.
I think I would give her two things. One is one of the last vinyl players with like some Beatles vinyl, because that's probably going to be really special. And then the other one, I'm kind of dreaming of this device that can it's kind of brain connected to it. Did cognitive science for a while. It would just connect to your brain, and then she can just use her own brain waves to make some audio visual experience in, in AR, where everybody can see it. That's how far I got. I don't have that much technical backup like you.
I think your granddaughters will definitely be happy with those presents. Okay, I think we are reaching the end. Is there anything what you would like to mention or say at this point?
I mean, like I said, right now we're just doing a push to get as many people onto Volta as possible. If anyone is listening and wants to try it out, get early access to our beta, please go to volta-xr.com and sign up.
Same here. I don't want to get people on our beta because it's not done, but please reach out if you have any questions or want to be in the industry or want to connect or whatever. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, if you just have any questions about what we're doing or just questions for me in general, I'm more than happy to talk. Alex at volta-xr.com.
Thank you very much, guys. Alica, Molito, Alex, Kane, and enjoy the rest of InnoCon conference. Thanks to Berkeley for this, and have a nice evening, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.